Hey there, this is K4A, Knowledge for All, educational videos and tutorials. Today I will try to explain you how and when you can use GML visual drag and drop block, which is called choose. As you can see, this block is the red one. It's one of the random blocks, and we have learned before how to use those two blocks, get random number and randomize, but this one choose differs from those two, because with this block you can give options, very concrete, very precise options to GameMaker, and then tell GameMaker to choose only between those options. So for example, if I need 5 values, 5 names, 5 objects, 5 sprites and so on, very specific, very precise, I tell GameMaker, okay, I want this one, this one, this one, then randomly choose between those. In real life you will use it a lot, and same as get random and randomize. But for example, if you remember, when we have created our scene with coins on the scene, obj coin instances, we have spawned coins on the scene, and we have randomized different values for those coins. So for example, this one has 6, 14, 9, 13, 12, 8, 11. All of those numbers were randomized, and sometimes you will need that. That's all cool. We will see how that works in code. So for example, yeah, I have it already zoomed. Great. So we have used first randomize. That means shuffle, start the random engine, so every time the values will be different, so our game will be more interesting. But here in get random number block, as you can see here, I have some kind of limit between 5 and 15, and that's all cool, but I'm not sure will I get the number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Sometimes that's cool, but sometimes your game designer will tell you, okay, I need values between 5 and 15, but I need 5, 8, 12 and 15. Only those 4 values, not 5, 6, 7, 8, no, but 5, 8, 12, 15. And again, don't think only in numbers, think about text also, strings. You can get and randomize those things also, or put some kind of objects and so on. So we will see that how it's much more effective with the choose and where you can use it. But anyway, whole idea here is that you yourself give specific options, specific information to GameMaker, and then tell GameMaker to randomly choose between those options. So let's see that in action, and I will use it, for example, here to we have used in previous video draw sprites. So for example, I can use yeah, I will disable this big smiley face first of all. Obj spawn sprite, so I don't want my sprite to be this big. I want it to be normal size, but I will copy this just to have my backup if I make something wrong here. Okay, I will zoom it a little bit. Okay, so what do I want to do here? I want to tell GameMaker first in language, then I will translate it into code. So I want to tell GameMaker something like this. I have 2 sprites or 3 sprites, which I like all of them, and I want only one of those to be generated when the game ends. For example, one face or another, or a third, or something like that. And that's it. I have 3 options, 3 sprites, sprite 1, sprite 2, sprite 3, and you GameMaker pick one of those randomly and do that from time to time in terms of change those images. Okay, so I have here draw sprites, but I have here sprite coin, and I cannot add okay, pick another or another. I can only pick one, so I have to first define in create event uh, that random value. And we said here, if I put this randomize, and where it is, here it is, get random number, I don't need numbers, I need sprites. Randomize, okay, I already did that with coins. I need this one, choose, which says randomly chooses one of the supplied arguments. So it's not only number, it can be text, it can be sprite, it can be object, instance, and so on. So it's only about what you need and when you need it and how you need it. So you're only limited with your imagination and ideas. Let me zoom first so you can see this more clearly. Okay, so as you can see, the first field is options. So what kind of options do you give to GameMaker to choose from? In my case, I will give the sprite. So okay, the first option will be, I can type this sprite coin or sprite egg, for example, and I can see how I used how I called the sprites on my left here on my sprites folder: SPR player, SPR enemy, SPR coin, SPR egg, and so on. So I can start typing SPR, and GameMaker is smart enough to give you some kind of example, some kind of solution for you to choose. The problem here is when you try to type some words like sprite or something like that, GameMaker will give you lots of options because those are very common names. So we have built-in variables, functions, and so on. I don't need that. I need this sprite egg, SPR underscore egg, so I can click it here. Or if you're not lazy, you can just type it, and then those options will be limited, so you can pick more faster. So that was the one option. So there isn't much sense to give only one option to GameMaker here. I want to have a couple of options. So I want maybe to spawn an egg or spawn coin image or enemy image or something like that. It doesn't make much sense in this case, but for some other games it will make more. Again, this is just simple example. So I need to add more options, and I do that by clicking on this plus sign. So another option is, for me, in my case, in your case it can be something else, sprite coin. So I will type SPR underscore C, and the GameMaker gives me SPR coin. Great. So I can add another, maybe SPR, I don't know, spike, as much as you need. Again, this is only sample and example of what you can do and which makes sense for my game. Instead of sprites, I can choose objects. So for example, I can use this same approach to give GameMaker options to pick from a couple of different objects and then to instantiate them on the screen, to spawn, for example, spawn different types of enemies, or different types of coins. Or for example, this is how you would make some kind of loot box with different kind of treasure and something like that. So endless possibilities. But the most important thing is here that all of those options and the one which GameMaker will pick for us, we need to put that in a variable, and I will call that variable random sprite. You can call it whatever you want. Again, I'm just using what makes sense here to me. So it's var underscore rnd underscore spr. So I need to copy this name, or you can try to remember it, and do what? I need to I need to go to the event in which I draw, and that is draw event. And instead of here saying draw me sprite coin, I will now tell me draw me variable in which I put what? In which I put one of those sprites. I don't know which one because GameMaker will choose that randomly for me. So one of those options will be chosen and put into this variable, and then I say okay, draw that variable. So you see this field says sprite, but again GameMaker as game engines is smart enough to understand, okay, I need sprite, he gave me some kind of variable, let me see what's in that variable. In my case I have put sprites in that variable, so he will say okay, that's all cool. But sometimes if you make an error, so for example if you put here obj or number or something like that, you will probably get some kind of error here, so take care of that. Okay, so I want to draw a sprite, which sprite variable, and in that variable I have one of those. I don't know which one, GameMaker will choose that for me. So let me test the game and see if this will work. So now when I test my game, one of those sprites will show up on the screen, either egg, either coin, either spike. I don't know which one, and I will use this button to restart my game to see if that works randomly. Okay, first time it's smiley, it's coin. Second time is egg, you can see. And again, if this was the obj egg instance, if I clicked on it, something would happen. It would happen, animation would start. But this is only sprite, only image. Okay, let me try. Yeah, spike. So this works great. Spike, spike, smiley, smiley, spike, egg. So this works randomly. And again, that's what we wanted here. It doesn't make much sense for this game. But imagine that I have here, for example, that I'm opening a loot box. So here I get a coin. Here I get some kind of shield. Here I get coin. Here I get shield. Here I get spear, I don't know what. So it gives random options of items which you can get, or maybe this is a spawner of enemies, or maybe this is environment, different kind of environment which I'm creating on the screen with choose and options which I gave GameMaker to choose from. So again, this is very powerful block, very powerful command which you will use a lot probably, and that makes you much more stronger in terms of programming. So now you can say to GameMaker what kind of things you need to choose from, and then choose from those. In previous videos we have learned how to use randomize and get random number, but here again just concentrate, instead of only numbers you can put sprites, objects, I don't know, sound effects, variables, some kind of whatever you need, whatever you want. Just experiment and go crazy, and we will use this probably a lot in our later games. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching and see you soon.